Since part 4 of the Dragon Ball review series is probably going to take a while, I figured I'd take a look at the first ever movie in the Dragon Ball series. This movie also released in between episodes 43 and 44 in the anime, and I coincidentally ended the last review episode 43, so this works out oddly well. Nowadays, a Dragon Ball movie is a big event. For starters, they're canon, and usually have the best action sequences in the franchise. Back when the series was first getting started though, they were meant more as promotional material. Dragon Ball, Curse of the Blood Rubies, or Legend of Shenlong as it's called in Japan, debuted on December 20th, 1986 at the Toei Cartoon Festival. This festival was held during break weeks for school children in order to promote the company's newest anime. These movies weren't usually canons to their series and would simply introduce the main premise and characters. This movie is no different, but that's not to say there isn't anything to enjoy here. With character designs coming from Akira Toriyama and a larger budget than the show had ever seen to that point, there's a lot going in this movie's favor. In the year 2024 though, is this movie still worth the watch? Let's find out. This is my review of the 1986 film, Dragon Ball, Curse of the Blood Rubies. The film begins with an explanation of the Dragon Balls. The movie was meant to appeal to people who had never seen the original series before after all. That means it has to introduce as many characters and concepts as possible, all within a short 50-minute runtime. So instead of trying to come up with new reasons for all these characters to meet, they instead just recycled the Emperor Pilaf saga, but this time with a new villain. Early on we were introduced to King Gurumes. It's implied that at one point he was a good king, but after finding what they call rich stones, or blood rubies in the dub, he ended up developing a crippling food addiction. He starts tearing down the village in order to find more rubies, but it's still not enough. Now the only thing that can satisfy his addiction is wishing for the most delicious meal ever from Shenlong. From here we basically go into an alternate universe version of the Emperor Pilaf saga. Instead of Bulma and Goku teaming up to find the rest of the Dragon Balls, Goku's Dragon Ball is stolen by two henchmen of King Gurumes, Pasta and Bongo. And I wanted to finish the plot synopsis before bringing this up, but as I'm typing this, I'm just now watching the dub for the first time, and this thing is crazy. I watched this movie subbed initially because I enjoy early Dragon Ball in Japanese more, but if you ever plan on going back and watching this, please watch the dub. It completely ruins the story, characterization, tone, but in return we get lines like this.
Look at me! I can't fit into any of my own robes! I'm fat! I love my work. It's important to choose a career you can enjoy.
I could have taken him.
Boy, that was easy.
Yeah, easier than plucking lint from a navel.
What?
Back to the plot though. After getting shot down by Pasta, Goku and Bulma meet Oolong and a new character, Pansy, and if she looks familiar, it's because she's a reskin of Suno. They also run into Yamcha, who has the exact same character arc he had in the Pilaf saga. The fight between Goku and Yamcha is great though. You can really see where the budget went in these action sequences. Every single one is fast-paced and has great choreography. After this fight, we find out that Pansy left her village to look for Muten Roshi, since he's the only person strong enough to take on the king's army. Since the next Dragon Ball is in the same direction, Goku and Bulma bring her with them. Also, Oolong's here too. They don't ever really explain why, but he is. After they get to Roshi's house, he gives them the Dragon Ball and Kindun like in the original series, but then Kame House is destroyed by Pasta and Bongo. They steal his Dragon Ball, but Oolong blocks them from getting the last one. They launch a barrage of missiles at the island, but Roshi blows them away with a Kamehameha. The scene is animated extremely well and feels appropriately dramatic. And like in the original series, Goku immediately replicates the Kamehameha. Roshi doesn't agree to help them, but tells Pansy that Goku and Bulma should be more than enough to defeat King Gurumes. So they head straight for his castle to stop him and get the rest of the Dragon Balls. Yamcha follows them there as well, so he can wish to get rid of his fear of women. Bulma, Oolong, and Pansy immediately get shot out of the air, but they meet up with Yamcha inside, who suddenly decides he wants to help them. Meanwhile, Goku... They all eventually end up in the throne room, when suddenly Gurumes turns into a giant monster, which he can do by the way. Bulma notices that his stomach is glowing and realizes that he must have eaten the other 6 Dragon Balls, so she throws the 7th one in his mouth and summons the dragon from inside him. This doesn't end up killing him, but that would have been an absolutely horrible way to die. While everyone's thinking about what to wish for, Pansy wishes for the blood rubies to be removed from her village and for it to be returned to the way it was. And with that, the movie ends. Gurumes turns back into whatever this is, Bulma and Yamcha start dating, and Goku rides off into the sunset. So, is this movie still worth watching? I'd say yeah, if you want an alternate universe retelling of the first Dragon Ball arc with incredible animation and great comedy, watch the sub. And if you want whatever the dub was, watch the dub. It's worth the watch either way. And that's about all I had to say on that one. I plan on covering the other 2 original Dragon Ball movies before I finish the series review. I'd like to finish that review before Daima releases in October, but at this point I'd be happy to finish it before the end of the year. So subscribe for more Dragon Ball content, or for more random movie reviews, and leave a comment to a specific movie you want me to cover.